Yesterday, myself and Minister Wong and Governor Parkop, as well as Mrs. Marape, we had the pleasure of being guests to President Whip's inauguration to the 15th Constitutional Parliament, as they call it. Palau is an important member of the Pacific Island Forum Nations. Palau is the biggest, in my view, in terms of their leadership role in West Pacific, more so the Micronesian nations. We were joined by all the leaders of the Micronesia nations who were up there with us in the inauguration of the Parliament. They placed their appreciation on Papua New Guinea for being part of the inauguration. Palau and PNG work hand in hand. I was pleasantly, on a side note, joyed to see a couple of PNG nurses also working in the hospital up there. I asked them, how did you guys come across? And they said, well, employment is an open marketplace. We applied in vacancies that were here, and we picked up. They're working at the Palau General Hospital. But we were happy to associate ourselves with Palau. Palau is part of the greater family of nations in Cape. Whilst the land size and population may be small, the total sovereignty space of the Pacific Island nations is substantial. In fact, our ocean alone occupy, it is believed, about 10% of the total space on planet Earth. That is substantial. And if I go deeper into that, you look at just one product from our ocean. We control 30% of the world's tuna supply. We control 30% of the world's tuna supply. And of the 30%, 60% of that comes from PNG and the PINA, those who are members of the Party of Nauru Agreement. As 60% of the 30% comes from our waters combined, put together. And so in that context, we have a strategic intent. Minister Wong's association with me into that in that visit was part of a bigger game plan to mobilize our Pacific fisheries resources into power bloc in as far as Pacific resources are concerned. And so that is gaining momentum as we speak, and I want to confirm that the Micronesian nations, as well as PNG, Solomon Island, are deep in that conversation. Sometimes next month, Minister Wong and all Pacific Island fisheries ministers will be meeting in Honiara to progress this agenda, to mobilize all our fishing resources so that we can process fish. PNG intends strategically to develop our maritime, our downstream processing of fisheries in our country. Minister Maru, Minister Wong are working in that space. Medang Maritime, Pacific Maritime Zone will be the first place of development, as well as potentially Rabaul, Kiata, and other Ley and other parts of our coastal areas. So that was also part of the rationale of why we relate with our small island brother and sister nations. Some of you who do not think deeper would say, why is Prime Minister Marape wasting a flight to Palau? Palau is not a big nation. I want to say Palau is a big nation in terms of maritime space. Likewise, our Micronesia, population-wise, they may be small, but they are a big bloc in the total fisheries and tuna supply to the world. We want to get all of them together so that we have a united approach in as far as fisheries resources are concerned for us to supply to the market nearby and far away. So in that context, our presence was appreciated. Last year, Palau, for instance, was able to offload some of their fishing days to us. As we work with them, Palau offloaded some of the fishing days that they were not able to sell. They offloaded to us, and PNG was able to sell. For them, we gave them some of the proceeds, and we also pick up some of the proceedings for ourselves. So those relationships at the base level, in as far as not just people to people and government to government, but our fishing industry and their fishing industry. They also have a pretty advanced tourism market, the consistent supply of tourists to these small markets, a niche market. We've made indications for us to relook at flights between us and them, and onwards to either Philippines or Japan. The inauguration also had Japanese foreign minister who was also there. We in the side meeting, our engagement with Japanese foreign minister, though light it was, but we did also indicate a possibility of a synergy in that space. So I want to indicate to all of you, we are back. I am back here now for one or two work today. But in any case, the visit to Palau was appreciated. Governor Parker also went in the context. We established that there's a substantial presence of Papua New Guinea DNA in Palau. As a result of seafarers who trade and who interrelate, Governor Parker's own tribe lost about 30 canoes about 100 years ago. The President Senate, who sat with me at the table last night, conversed, did indicate that he's from PNG descent. And so there's a heavy presence of Papua New Guinean DNA in Palau. There's at the people-to-people also, there are Papua New Guinean descents also in Palau. In case someone went to the museum, I had a look through, and the museum has a map of the 1900s. In that 1900 map, there's a territory called German New Guinea that spreads half of our country, the New Guinea Islands, right into Palau. That space was called German New Guinea. So that's what Sam said, not just colonial past heritage, but share heritage in as far as people-to-people contact prior to our sovereignty we have today. Governor Parker was able to reconnect with some of the Melanesians from the northern islands of our country who got lost in open sea. They're caught up there in Palau and our northern islands. Likewise, we do have some Micronesian and Polynesian descent in our islands. Obviously, those were exchanges that took place prior to our sovereignty in 1975. It was good for Governor Parker to have caught up with some people who are Papua New Guineans by blood. We also intend to make those connections come to life in an exchange at the museum level and culture level between our two peoples.